Hi, my name is Ted Price. I'm from Insomniac Games, and this is for all of you in Europe who unfortunately couldn't make it to E3. We've appreciated your support over the last couple years for Resistance, and what we'd like to do is take you through the footage that we're actually showing off at E3 and explain what we've been doing over the last few months. Now, a lot of people have wondered how Resistance 2 is going to start. And we spent a lot of time discussing the best way to really tie Resistance 1 and Resistance 2 together. And what we hit on was beginning with the last movie in Resistance 1 and having it transition seamlessly into the first movie of Resistance 2. This means that there's no time elapsed between the two games. So what you're seeing here is the first cinematic in the game. And you can actually see the difference between our movie-making techniques in Resistance 1 and now what we're doing in Resistance 2. There's several things that we've done in Resistance 2 that have made it much easier for us to create movies at higher fidelity. The number one change has been the use of motion capture. In Resistance 1, we hand animated everything. But with Resistance 2, we've been using actors in mocap volumes to create much more lifelike motions and to really convey the story a lot more convincingly than we had before. Another really cool piece of technology we've been using is the InterSense camera. The InterSense camera allows us to create the scene first and then refilm it with a camera whose motions are actually motion captured. And what this does for us is create a much more filmic feel for all of our cinematics. And you can see it demonstrated in our first opening cinematic for the game. The characters in the game have had a major overhaul in terms of the technology underlying them. First of all, we've got much higher res textures and normal maps and better specularity on the characters so they pop out of the environment. We've completely revamped our lighting system. We now have much better support for our dynamic lights. We have self-shadowing on characters. What this does is it brings out the normal maps and detail in both our characters and our environment. I think Chicago is a great example of how all of this detail is making Resistance 2 a much more visually vibrant game. Secondly, they're all using the motion capture techniques that we're using in our cinematics, so characters move more believably and with more fluidity. And we have the Grims. The Grims are a type of chimera that are new to Resistance 2. Come at you in waves of 40 or 50, and if they get close to you, they will rip you apart. Resistance 2, in many ways, is all about scale. With the improvements we've made to our engine and with the ambitious design that we've come up with, we've been able to support much larger vistas and, of course, much larger enemies. In Chicago, you will fight a 300-foot tall Leviathan. This is a character that for us at first seemed impossible to do, because making a 300-foot monster stomp around and be interactive with the environment and be interactive with the character is pretty darn tough. Plus, it's very difficult to make it look believable both at a distance and up close. But the technology we've developed has allowed us to do this, so when you do get picked up by this Leviathan, it's a different fighting mechanic than you're used to in the game. The Leviathan isn't the only boss character you're going to find in the game. There are several other very large and unique characters that you'll encounter as you move through America. In the game, a persistent element is going to be this Chimeran fleet that's invaded America. In San Francisco, we get our first glimpse of this fleet, and it's massive. We've got battleships that are a mile wide, accompanied by hundreds of smaller ships. And what they're doing is systematically taking apart our cities. Here we get to see San Francisco just being obliterated by this fleet. As you're moving through the game, you'll get to see the fleet in a very close-up fashion. When we released the first teaser trailer for Resistance 2, a lot of folks looked at it and said, there's no way that's going to be in the game. And what we wanted to do with this particular gameplay shot was to demonstrate that this is indeed in the game. What you're seeing here is running in real time as the fleet takes apart San Francisco. Guys, thank you for taking the time to watch this. We appreciate all of your support for Resistance and Resistance 2. We look forward to seeing you online this fall.